Two keen Park watchers join me on the show. Tilak Devasher is former Special Secretary of Research and Analysis Wing, former member of the National Security Advisory Board, and Professor Brahma Chellaney, again a former advisor to India's National Security Council. Mr. Devasher, Imran Khan is alive. Is this just a storm in a teacup, or is there fresh trouble brewing for Asim Munir?
Well, first thing, thank you for having me on your show, Gaurav, and big hello to Mr. Chellaney. I think it's a big sense of relief for all his supporters and the family that somebody has finally managed to see him after almost a month. He's in good health physically, I guess, but mentally has a system made out that he is, confined in a solitary confinement for such a long period of time, can break even the best. I don't know why he's being kept in solitary confinement. After all, he's not on death row or something like that. And the fact that he's not allowed to communicate with anybody either, shows that the kind of pressure that he would be under. So that's one part of it. But the fact that the government relented and allowed the sister to meet him shows that the government is also under a lot of pressure. Obviously, the groundswell of support for Imran Khan, which has been visible in many parts of the country, especially in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Punjab, would have sort of rattled them to some extent that, why continue with this crisis? It need not be there, just show proof of life and the thing will settle down. But now they seem to be upping the ante. They want to get rid of the KPK government, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government, and
have
put it under governor's
Raj.
rule. I don't know why. It is like a government, ki aap ail mujhe maar, create one crisis after the other, rather than putting things down and let things cool down. They seem to be on the confrontational.
Does this indicate, Professor Chellaney, that Imran Khan is not a spent force as many believed after the May 9 incident in Pakistan, when several military houses and installations were attacked and his cadre and leaders were arrested and jailed? Does he remain a force to reckon with in Pakistan, and Asim Munir now realizes that?
Imran Khan remains the most popular politician in Pakistan. There is no doubt about that. After all, his supporters won most parliamentary seats in last year's elections, which were held in February 2024. And he's been in prison now for nearly 2.5 years. And the reason why authorities finally allowed someone to meet Imran Khan is because of these rumors. The rumors were that he may be dead. That's the reason why the government is not allowing anyone to enter the prison, his cell. So to dispel those rumors, a very stringent set of conditions were imposed on Imran Khan's sister to meet with him. The sister happens to be a physician, so she can really assess his physical and mental health. But I think the bigger picture is this, and I think we should not forget that what has happened in recent weeks in Pakistan has completely transformed that state. Instead of staging a coup, the military has engineered something more durable, something more insidious, a constitutional coup.
Yes.
Now, Asim Munir has become effectively Pakistan's ruler. In effect, Munir has achieved what Pakistan's past military dictators never quite managed, which is absolute power with legal cover. Absolute power with legal cover. Even the last Field Marshal Ayub Khan couldn't achieve that. So this 27th constitutional amendment, which formally enshrines the military's supremacy over all state institutions, changes the very character of Pakistan. Civilian leaders have been reduced to little more than figureheads, their authority hollowed out by constitutional design. So I was laughing when your reporter earlier in the story was talking about the threat to Pakistan's democracy. Where is the democracy in Pakistan?
There is no democracy. Absolutely. There is no democracy in Pakistan. And Mr. Devasher, Was this then a smoke screen? The entire focus remained on Imran Khan, whether he's alive or not, and that's exactly how, Asim Munir was able to engineer this coup, keep the focus on Imran Khan. Is he firmly in the saddle now? That notification will have to be signed by Shahbaz Sharif. He has no alternative. Nobody to oppose Asim Munir now?
You see, once that notification is signed, and there is an important time lag, because technically Asim Munir retired on 29th of November. He is today not the Army Chief of Pakistan, because the Army Act amendment is so worded that it's only after the issue of the notification that he recommences his tenure as Army Chief, which is then coterminous with the post of the CDF.
Yes.
Now, the fact, you see, the only time politicians in Pakistan have some sort of control over the army is when a new chief is to be appointed or a chief has to be given an extension. That's the only time politicians have control. And Shehbaz Sharif and Nawaz Sharif have maneuvered to exercise that control for the last 4 days. Shehbaz Sharif, as you know, pushed off to London, where he was sitting, and the defense minister is sitting in Germany. So they have deliberately prolonged this process. I mean,
So is there still a slip between the cup and the lip, Professor Brahma Chellaney? The last 30 seconds I have on this part of the show. Is there still a slip between the cup of the lip? Or Asim Munir with the army behind him is firmly in the saddle?
Well, it's the latter. After all, who pushed through the 27th Amendment without a real discussion? That same government led by Sharif, right? The civilians. The civilians have neutered themselves by pushing through this 27th Amendment. Can Prime Minister Sharif now resist Munir? Of course not. And under the 27th Amendment, the Army Chief, the senior most Army Chief, the Army Chief, in fact, the post of Chief of Defense Forces is reserved for the Army Chief, right? Under the Constitutional Amendment. So where is the question of Prime Minister resisting? Not at all. Whatever the reason is for the delay in the notification, the fact is that, as Nawaz Sharif, the Prime Minister's brother, said in 2020, he said the army was evolving from a state within a state into a state above the state, into a state above the state.
State above the state has come true.
Yeah, that prophecy has now come true.
I've sadly run out of time on this part of the show, and I have to take a break here. But this is a debate we'll continue in the days ahead. I want to thank you, Professor Brahma Chellaney and Mr. Tilak Devasher.